those your notes?
These are
I
notes.
put my notes over here already.
Okay. If this
I've already
is
lost my
if
notes.
This is an indicator of how smooth.
I am so discombobulated. Molly and I never team teach. And so this is like an experiment, like it's like a test of the marriage. Like
is,
if we could
yes.
survive this,
Yes,
then
rocky
that'd be
waters.
awesome. Well, if we haven't met, my name is Kevin. I am one of the pastors here, and we are so delighted and honored to have so many amazing guests here with us. We just want you to feel incredibly welcomed and incredibly honored. And really, that's why you're here. You're not here by accident. Obviously, you're here because your life means a great deal to someone in this room. You've made an impact on someone in this room. And my guess is that you don't know the half of it. You don't know half of the story about how you've made an impact in our lives. You've made our lives happier, healthier, more fun, stronger, more peaceful. And so we wanted to take this morning to just honor you and hopefully bless you and just say thank you to who you are. And we love to be around you because we actually are a church that we're a group of people that wants to make an impact in the world. We're a group of people that wants to be used by Jesus to just bring hope and healing and life and encouragement all around us. And so what we're going to do with our time together today is Molly and I hope to put some fuel on the fire of your lives and give you some ideas and some tools for making an even greater impact in the world. So we're really excited to do this with you guys.
Yes, we're going to have a microphone on. We're going to have some scriptures and some points up on the screens as we go. There's little notepads in front of you and Bibles in front of you if you want to use those. But here's what I want to know today. Who in the room has been to the happiest place on earth? And I do mean Disney World or Disneyland, the happiest. Let's go, hands up. All right, there we go. So in my opinion, the happiest place on earth is Main Street, USA. You walk through those gates and you hit the street of Main Street, and the smell of fresh popcorn and waffle cones is drifting through the air, and that ragtime music is bouncing off the red brick buildings, and it is just magical. But I wonder that as you're standing on Main Street, USA, hopefully with a bucket of popcorn in one hand and a Starbucks in the other, have you ever looked up? Have you ever looked up to those second floor windows above the businesses and shops that line the street? Have you ever looked up and you ever noticed that each of those windows is painted with a name, a business name, and a owner's name on these windows? Now, these names, these businesses are fictitious, but the names are actual people. They're actual people who are retired, people who have been key contributors to building the kingdom, people that have done something great that the organization wanted to honor. They are significant people in the history of Disney, and their names are up on these windows. So one example is this. The second floor window, it reads, Dolls by Miss Joyce. And it honors a woman named Joyce Carlson who made all of the dolls for It's the Small World attraction. Another one reads, Dr. Card Walker. And his business is this: licensed practitioner of psychiatry and justice of the peace. And his tagline is, we never close. But Card Walker wasn't a doctor. No, he was in fact a former president and CEO of the Walt Disney Company, and he contributed to the major expansion of the company and really set the atmosphere, the cultural atmosphere for the company. And now his name lives on a window. So each of these people, they will be remembered for what they did. So let me ask you this. What do you want your window to say? What do you want your window to say? Each of these people, they contributed to the building of the kingdom. What do you want to be a part of your legacy? Because day by day, guys, we too are building a kingdom. We are. What are you contributing to the world, to the people around you? When someone thinks of you, they think of ... What is that fill in the blank? And I know this about you, and I know this about me, is we all want to make a meaningful impact on our world. We are all searching for meaning. It is a part of our common humanity that we want a second story window with our name etched on it. And we want something that will last beyond our 20, 30 years of work in the industry, right? We want something that will last beyond the Employee of the Month or our Dundee Award. We want meaning. We want meaning in this life.
Is that my cue?
That's your cue.
Whoa.
Whoa, that's a smooth transition. That was fun.
This is amazing.
Tricks. He does tricks. Are you going to juggle next?
Okay. All right. Here, will you slide those over? Okay, so I imagine that most all of us would say, I want to make a difference in the world. Like, I want to do good. I want to make an impact in people's lives. And I'm not necessarily talking about how we all have to, like, join the Peace Corps or, move to the Sudan to feed starving kids. I'm talking about just being an encouragement to someone when they're having a hard time, or giving someone a hug, or donating money to a good cause, or just holding the door for someone. I know that we all want to do good in the world, but I wonder if you knew that instinct to be good and to do good and to make a difference, I wonder if you know where that comes from. It actually, we believe, it comes right from God, from the heart of God, because God created you and God designed you. And I actually have I have it built into my contract that I get a union break to drink coffee. And so Molly's going to read my
I get to read the scripture. Ephesians 2:10. It says this: "For we are God's masterpiece." We are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus so that we can do the good things he planned for us long ago.
That's so good. So, okay, the Bible says you are God's masterpiece. You are God's masterpiece. So I have a question. Do you ever just look at yourself in the mirror and go, masterpiece, masterpiece. This is amazing. What God did with this, phenomenal, right? Do you do that? You'd be getting closer to the truth if you did. You are God's masterpiece. It is an amazing thing that he did when he made you and made who you are. And it goes on to say, and this is so amazing to me, not only are we God's masterpiece, but it says that we were created anew in Christ Jesus. When we give our lives to Christ, we are made all new so that we can do the good things that God has planned for us to do. God created us not by accident, but we were created and equipped very purposefully to do amazing things, God things in the world.
Jeremiah 29:11 says this: "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future." Yeah,
and that's the thing, is that one of the things I love about God is that not only he's got so many amazing purposes about seeking and saving the lost and rescuing humanity, but one of God's great purposes is to give us a hope and a life, and to be a blessing to every single one of us, to prosper us, to give us a hope and a future. And I believe, church, that you and I have been both called and equipped to join God in that work, that we are created specifically and purposefully and intentionally to bring hope and to bring life and to bring peace into other people's lives. And the way that I sometimes think about it, those, I don't even know what they're called, but those little gunpowder things that you throw on on the 4th of July and they pop. What are they called? Okay, those things. I think that we sometimes think that that's sort of the impact that we will have, that we make this tiny little pop in the world, that's all the power we have or all the effect or impact that we have. But the reality is that we are like these megaton bombs, that we can make such a splash, such a difference in the world, every one of us. I want you to know just how powerfully God has created you to bring life and hope and joy and peace to people around you. You're supposed to prompt me with a question.
No, you were supposed to say something nice about me.
Oh, that's right.
I did not forget. I did not forget this part.
That's right, because I said it last service.
You said it last service.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is that one of the things She has to say that to me all the time. Now's your turn to say something nice
Nope.
about me. No.
Now.
So, but it's true. One of the things that I really, really love about hitching my wagon to Molly, to you, is that you are this person that you live your life to make a difference in the world. Like, you're so purposeful about it. You're so intentional about blessing people and strengthening people. It's just the way that you live your life. And I love getting to watch that, and come along for the ride.
Aw.
I do.
Yeah. Well,
It's true.
and Kevin, one of the things that's fun about Kevin is he has decided that he is going to be the pastor of Panera. That Panera is his place of influence, and we said we're not pointing people out, but there are some Panera people front row next to Carly, not Carly.
Oh boy.
That he just really is there to look for people that he can bless. He's more than a SIP club member, people. But recently you had an opportunity to live out that purpose and that impact there. Can you just share that little story?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, so we hope that our time together can be like really, really practical and helpful, and you guys might get an idea and go, oh, I'd like to try that. But one of the things that I am really, really intentional about with my life is I am always looking for anyone who is in need. I look for people that are hurting. I look for people that, I look for pain in the hopes that somehow I can step in and help. And this was probably now, several months ago, maybe 4 months ago or so. I was sitting at Panera, where you will only find me in this church at Panera or on the golf course. I sleep at home for a few minutes, and that's about it. That's where I'll be. But I was at Panera, and I was, working on something, and there was a guy sitting about 10 feet to my right, and he was on the phone, and I couldn't help but hear his conversation, and I heard him say, I just don't think I can take it anymore. And he said, I'm in so much pain, and I just don't know if I can do it anymore. And as soon as I heard that, I knew, you're going to talk to this guy. And so I waited, and he got off the phone, and I didn't want it to be weird or awkward, so I just kind of was hoping that he would get up, and I actually went to grab some coffee, and hey man, of a disaster my life is. And he said my teeth hurt so much, and he said there's something going on with my teeth, and he said, and on top of that, I've got cancer all over my body. And he was like 40 years old. And he said, I've got cancer. And he said, I never thought my life would turn out like this. And he said, I've lost everything. He spent so much money on the medical bills and things like that. And so we talked, and I listened to him, and I prayed for him. And he was really, really appreciative. And I was just like glad to be able to be there in that moment. And then he started emailing me or texting me. And here's what he texted me. I just want to give you a sense of this. And he said, hi, Kevin, it's me, Dan, the guy that you met at Panera a few times, and you prayed for me. And I wanted to say that those days still come into my head, and I'm always grateful when I think about that memory. I had a major appointment today down at Northwestern, and it went really well. I'm clear for surgery for December. Please continue to do the things that you do because it's made a real difference in my life. Prayers to all, and thanks be to God. So, yeah. It is what that was is a thing that every single person in this room could do. Is start looking. What we have to do is start seeing the people that are around us and just having the courage to say, how are you doing? And can I pray for you? Is there anything I could do to serve you? And boy, oh boy, does it make a difference. I was so thankful to be able to be that person in that moment. That person, you'll be that same person that will bring God's hope, his life, his peace, his comfort in your moment. So my encouragement practically is to begin to see, to begin to look, and to step into that moment because God has created you for that moment. I believe it was a God thing that Dan and I met.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the type of impact that we're designed for. But Jesus tells us that the kind of impact we're made for, he says this in John 15:16. He says, I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit that will last. Jesus is saying, I chose you for a life that matters, to make a difference that won't fade away. He says the fruit that lasts, right there when he's talking about that is not success, that is not achievements, it is not money like the world would say. Those things, Jesus would say, those spoil like fruit that you've left out on your counter. Has anyone left fruit out on their counter and gone away on vacation? And you come back and it is just like absolute mush, right? Yeah. So we are designed for fruit that lasts, good fruit. Main Street USA window mentions that outlast the job, right? Something that will be celebrated even into eternity. So what kind of fruit lasts? Well, the Bible tells us about fruit, about the fact that love actually produces fruit that has an eternal shelf life. This might sound familiar to you. It says this in 1 Corinthians 13. Love never fails. If I was going to tell you, hey, there is something you can have 100% success rate, you would do it, right? Well, here it is. Love never fails. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. That's you. You're sitting too much.
Okay. So
Get to work, Kevin. Get to work.
Do you have a practical tool for us?
Yes.
Something that we could do?
Okay, so we're going to give you 3 practical tools today that are going to help us produce this fruit that lasts, a life built on love, lasting impact that we're designed for. And the first thing that I'm going to give you is just a simple guiding principle, okay? A simple guiding principle. When I was thinking about the kind of people who leave a real impact, the kind of people whose names belong on those second floor windows of God's kingdom, I came across this simple phrase from a Christian leadership author. His name is John Gordon, so I'm going to give him credit. And he said that this is it. To make a difference in people's lives, we only need to focus on 3 things: love, care, serve. Love, care, serve. Can you say that with me? Love, care, serve. That's right. And he uses this simple love, care, serve as a cultural code when he goes in and he works with professional sports teams and big organizations. But it perfectly captures Jesus' leadership model, the legacy that Jesus built. Remember, Jesus did this the same way. He loved deeply, he cared personally, he served sacrificially. This is what we read in Mark. Whoever wants to be great must become a servant. These are the words of Jesus himself. Whoever wants to be first among you must be your slave. That is what the Son of Man, who's Jesus, has done. He came to serve, not to be served, and then to give away his life in exchange for many who are held hostage. There it is. There is the definition of greatness, real greatness, lasting greatness. Serve everyone. Serve everyone. It's not complicated. It is not reserved for pastors or Mother Teresa's or the pastors of Panera. It is not. It is for ordinary people, for you and me. And if we lived out these 3 words, love, care, serve. Love, care, serve. Our homes, our schools, our workplaces, our neighborhoods, our world would change. It would. So here's my suggestion. What if we just make this our life code? Love, care, serve. What if we took this up and we were just like, okay, this is going to be our family mission statement, right? Again, like, okay, we are past Halloween. We are in Christmas mode. That means 2026 is right around the corner, people. We're going to have like a vision for 2026. I'm just going to offer this to you. Love, care, serve. Maybe you run a business. Maybe you're in charge of a department somewhere, and you're like, listen, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to focus on as a group of people. Love, care, serve. Just make it common language in our circle of friends. Everywhere we go, just love, care, serve. One person at a time, every time. Love, care, serve. Just do it with the person in front of you. We don't need to get overwhelmed about how are we going to change the world. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to love, care, serve. There's a lot of need out there, and many of us are like, what can we do in this mess? Love, care, serve. Love, care, serve. We don't need to be overwhelmed. And I think about the 2 friends that were walking on a beach after a big storm, and all of those starfish that had gotten stranded on the beach washed onto the shore, and they're walking along, and the one friend bends down and picks up a starfish and tosses it back into the ocean. And they keep walking, and he picks up another one and tosses it into the ocean, and the other friend looks at him and says, "What? There's miles of beach here. There's hundreds of thousands of starfish. Surely you can't help them all." And the friend keeps walking, and he steps down and picks up another one and throws it back into the ocean, and he says with a smile, "Well, I made a difference for that one. That's the heart that we need to have, the mentality we need to have in this life. Love, care, and serve just the person right in front of you. And I've carried this little simple phrase with me over the past few weeks, and I find a repeatable, simple phrase so helpful because I get so distracted. I get so distracted with the sourdough recipes and honestly distracted with, am I making an impression on people, right? I care more about my impression than my impact. What do they think of me? And I can just get easily distracted. But I've just been carrying this code with me: love, care, serve. And so I'm walking into a social gathering, and as I'm walking across the front lawn, I just remind myself, this is why you're here, Molly. Love, care, serve. And so that means as I step in, I just am asking, who can I take an interest in? Who needs some empathy? Who can I cheer on in this moment? It's a Tuesday afternoon in the middle of the afternoon, and I'm looking at the pile of dishes at the sink, and I'm calculating 42% of these are mine. Only 42%. But I remind myself, love, care, serve. And that means I wash them all without going, ta-da, Kevin, look what I've done, right?
I love that.
You too.
Perfect.
Love, care, serve.
The best.
Maybe in your work, maybe with a client, with a customer, it is more than a business interaction. Love, care, serve. And I think too often we think of our lives in these like natural terms, these human, maybe more temporal, immediate terms. But here's the reality, guys. We are actually spiritual beings having a human experience. That's at the heart of it. We are spiritual beings. We do it with each day just day one at a time, and then all of a sudden we have this huge impact on a large group of people. Love, care, serve.
You guys know I am definitely going to be reminding you of that. Like, you said love, care, serve.
Guess we're eating out tonight.
Well, one of the ways that, let me just tell you a story. I ran into someone, this now was about a year ago, and I ran into this person, and they were clearly just, I knew them a little, not very well, but they were clearly having a really, really rough time. Something was wrong, and I asked this person, I said, hey, you okay? What's going on? And they literally, they couldn't talk. Like they couldn't even respond to me, and I knew something was going on. And so I just waited until this person was able to share, and this person said, I just feel so worthless. I feel like my life doesn't matter at all. I am just no good whatsoever. I hate myself, and I just feel worthless. And when this was a younger person, and when this kid said this, something kind of came over me, and I almost felt like this fatherly, like God the Father anger kind of come upon me, and I lit into her, and I said, that is not who you are. And I began to say, this is you are amazing, and you are wonderful, and you are kind, and you are a powerful person, and you are worthy of love, and you are so gifted, and I am so, so proud of you. And so I just like blasted her with her real identity, her true identity. I spoke into who she really was because she couldn't see it in that moment. And when I said that, I was like, boy, I really wish I could give this kid a hug, but I didn't think it was appropriate, and she actually had to go. And then she came back a little while later, and she stood there, and then she just threw her arms around me, and she gave me a hug. And again, I was just so grateful and thankful because what I was able to do was I spoke to her true identity, who God created her to be. I was able to see how God made her and how amazing she was, and that she was a masterpiece. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to step in and be that voice that would speak to her in her true God-created self, because she couldn't see it in that moment. And here's the thing, you guys, is I know very, very well how irritating people are. Right? If you have siblings or kids or a spouse or a coworker or a boss, you are very, very well aware of how dysfunctional and frustrating people can be. And if I were to just think, maybe I'll just put it in the category of my kids as an example, even though two of them are here right now. But Sometimes I can be tricked into thinking if I want this person to change, the most direct way of getting change to be done is by telling them what I dislike about the behavior. This thing that you're doing, I don't like it, and I want it to stop. And I hope that if I tell this kid, you need to stop what you're doing, or you need to start what you're doing, that is the quickest way to produce change in my kid. Now, how many of you guys realize that even though I do that, that is no good at all at producing real change, right? That does not do much of anything for anybody. But it's such a temptation to talk about people's behaviors and to say, I don't like this, and you need to stop this, or you need to start this. We have that temptation all the time. But what if, instead of describing people's behaviors to them all the time, what if we began to speak into their truest identity? What if we began to call out who God created them to be, to even call out some things that you may not even see yet. You may not see the proof of it just yet, but you know that it's in there. That is something that I try to do as often as I can, and I wish that I was much, much better at this. I'm just a pilgrim in this story, but I am trying to become a person that will say, this is what I see in you. This is who you really are. This is why I love you. This is why I'm so amazed at your life. This is what I see. People that describe bad behavior, they're a dime a dozen, right? The world doesn't need that. We need some people that will begin to look in and say, this is who you are. This is who God created me. You are amazing, and you are wonderful, and you are powerful, and you are lovely. And I am in awe of what God has done in you.
So it's turning in our sheriff badge.
What's that?
It's turning in our sheriff badge.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, the sheriff badge is just describing and policing bad behavior, right?
So we become in our life, we become what the people who we love most, what they say we are. Mm-hmm. And this is, God did this. He did this. He told Noah, you're going to be a shipbuilder. Mm-hmm. And he became a shipbuilder, right? He told, did I say Noah? Yeah. Moses, he told Moses, you're going to be a leader of my people. And Moses became a great leader. Mm-hmm. He looked at David, this little tiny teenager, you're going to become a king. And David became a king. He told Sarah, you're going to become a mother. And Sarah became a mother. Or Peter, I see in you, you're going to become a rock. You are going to become, I see who you're going to become. And Peter became the pillar for the church. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. Would you read that Proverbs verse for me?
Oh, yeah. Speak without thinking, and your words can cut like a knife. Be wise, and your words can heal. That's powerful.
Do that again, will you?
Sure. Speak without thinking, and your words can cut like a knife. Be wise, and your words can heal.
So King Solomon wrote this, the wisest man to ever live. And this is such an important thing that he said. I wish that we all could recognize this. He said, speak without thinking. You're gonna hurt somebody. But if you are wise, if you're wise, your words can actually bring healing to people. And what keeps me up at night, you guys, is the missed opportunities. How often it is in my own life where rather than speaking blessing into someone's life, words that can heal, how often it is that I just react. Have you ever caught yourself just reacting instead of being thoughtful about what it is that you want to say? I want to just encourage us and challenge us if we really want to begin to bring healing to people around us, if we really want to begin to make a difference in the world around us, what if we were to step back and just begin to just be wise with our words and not reactionary and just begin to speak into who people really are. I love that. And that's something I really hope I can do more and more of that.
Yeah, it's powerful. Honestly. It's powerful. Okay, so our first tip is love, care, serve. Our second tip?
See people. Look for people that are hurting and step in.
And then
what?
Tell them who they are.
Oh, that's my third tip. Okay, yeah.
No, I have the third tip. Okay.
So for those of you that are new, Molly and I co-pastor this church, and every time something like this happens where we're missing each other, we go, co-pastor.
We have a jingle. We have a jingle for it. It just makes it more fun. Okay. Our third tip, a little practical tip, if we're going to make a lasting impact, if we're going to love well, it's this, you guys. This is going to be really challenging. It's our area of growth. Love the ones that are hard to love. Love the ones that are hard to love. Here's what Jesus says in Matthew 5. You're familiar with the old written law, love your friend, and its unwritten companion, hate your enemy. I'm challenging that. I'm telling you to love your enemies. Let them bring out the best in you, not the worst. When someone gives you a hard time, respond with the supple moves of prayer. For then you are working out of your true selves, your God-created selves. This is what God does. He gives us his best, the sun to warm and the rain to nourish, to everyone, regardless, the good and bad, the nice and nasty. If all you do is love the lovable, do you expect a bonus? Anybody can do that. If you simply say hello to those who greet you, do you expect a medal? Any run-of-the-mill sinner does that. In a word, what I'm saying is grow up. You're kingdom subjects. Now live like it. Live out your God-created identity. Live generously and graciously towards others, the way God lives towards you. This was the command that he gave us, love your enemies. And you may hear that and you may think, I don't have enemies. Like that sounds really strong or distant, like we're not at war, right? I don't have enemies. How about this? Who do you have a hard time loving?
Name someone that you really have a hard time loving.
1, 2.
Or you could just point to them right now.
Maybe it's someone who annoys you at work. Maybe it's someone who has hurt you or disappointed you. Someone who just makes your eyes kind of roll. That person that you want to mute on a group text, or you secretly hope you're not going to run into in the hallway. When Jesus invites us to live a life of impact, he calls us, he commands us to love our neighbor. That means everyone. He put you in a world of neighbors. He wasn't saying just for the people you have an affinity for, just for the people who get you or the people who can do you good back. That's not what he meant. He invites us to live a life of impact where we are called not just to love the people who are easy to love, but the ones who are hard to love. This was a command to love our neighbors, again, without feeling, not because they deserve it. So here is my practical tip for this one. And we're calling it the 30-second rule, the 30-second rule. Now, you've heard of the 5-second rule, right? Okay, if we have a rule for dirty food, we have one for love, okay? Here's what it is. I got this from Bob Goff. Try loving an unlovable person for 30 seconds, okay? This week. You're talking to a coworker who is on the other side of the political aisle and drives you crazy. 30, 29, 28, 27. Okay, you're face to face with somebody in the Starbucks who's taking like way too long on their coffee order. It should be simpler. 30, 29, 28, 27. Maybe it's someone at the checkout. Maybe it's someone at the checkout line at the grocery store. Maybe it's someone, again, what they're doing is driving you crazy. It's so annoying. 30, 29, 28, 27. We're going to get all the way down to 1. Okay, guys? Let's try that this week. I promise you, you will have an opportunity. You will.
I have to say, though, this is semi-offensive, but after the first service, I was chatting with someone, and under their breath, I heard them say 30, 29, 28.
Someone grabbed him and said, can I have 30 seconds of your time?
So if you do that with me, just please do it silently. Just do it silently. Yeah.
All right, so we're sending you out with a challenge this week. We're going to give you 4. We're going to wrap up the 4 tips here.
4 tips. Okay. So here are the 4 things that we talked about, and I would encourage you guys to bite off on 1 or more of these if you can. This is our homework for the day.
No, we're making an impact. We're doing 4. We're doing all 4.
All right. Good job. All right. So the first one is this. Write down Molly's 3 words, which were eat, pray, love, right? Is that the words?
Love, care, serve.
Okay, love, care, serve. All right, so one thing you might do is like write down love, care, serve somewhere on a note card, put it on your dashboard, put it on your mirror in the bathroom, put it somewhere where you see it, and let this be sort of these guiding principles for how you will live your life. Love, care, serve. That's the first thing we encourage you to do. Number 2, I encourage you to be on the lookout. Open up your eyes. You will see people that need encouragement, people that need comfort, people that need help, people that need peace, people that need healing all around you. So start to open your eyes and look for those people that are in pain and just ask God for the courage to step into it with whatever it is that you have. Any expression of your love will be a huge blessing. Number 3, what if we were to begin to speak to who people could be? rather than just describing their poor behavior. I want to invite you to see people with God's eyes, to see this amazing masterpiece that He created them to be, and to speak that into them, to say, this is what I see in you. Boy, oh boy, we will make such a difference. The world will be a better place if just us believers started to do that. And then lastly, Molly's 30-second rule, which again, I don't want you to do it out loud, but 30, 29, 28, just love the unlovable person. Go to the margins, go to the fringes in your social circles and love those people. It will make such a big difference.
So if we do these things, we are going to begin to build a life of meaning and impact. And this is what I want for us. I want the sum of our days, the sum of our moments, our interactions as we go about. We're not just running errands. We're not just ordering coffee. We are actually taking these moments and we're building something that will last. Because I believe that in heaven there are going to be windows on the second floor buildings, and our names will be written on them. There will be names of lives that we've touched, of stories, texts that have come through from our own lives, people that we loved, people that we reached, people we made an impact in their life. So why don't we stand up, and we're going to end how we usually do by praying this over you.
Yeah, so if you're new here, and many of you are, this is the way that we typically end our service, and we just end by praying together. And so I would encourage you, if you're comfortable with this, just kind of open up your heart. Maybe some of you may even want to kind of open up your hands, but in any way that you can, let's just kind of allow God to speak to us. You've heard from Molly and myself and our worship team and things like that, but God is really, really present here, and He wants to bring healing to our hearts. He wants to bring encouragement to our hearts. And so we're just going to invite Him to do something in us that we probably can't do on our own. So I'll start, and you can finish up.